Indian middle class and lower middle class families are particularly prejudiced against the girl child. The primary reason given in this regard is that when girls have to be married, parents are under compulsion to pay huge amounts in dowry. In case this is not done, the girl does not find a suitable groom since huge sum of money has to be spent on the dowry of the girls. Parents hesitate to spend on their education. The plight of this social evil comes to light when one reads the story of Bholi. Ramlal does not send his daughters to school mainly because he seeks to marry them off by paying dowry. And in this story of Bholi, it will be clearly puts the spotlight on the evils of the dowry. Children, here is a summary of the chapter Bholi written by K.A. Abbas. The story Bholi. It present before the reader two pictures of the young girl, one before her education and the second after it. The Bholi that the reader meets before her schooling was timid, lacked confidence, stammered, and never thought that she too had any will of her own. She accepted all the ill treatment and discrimination meted out to her by her family and behaved like the dumb cow. And the second Bholi is one who evolves after getting due care from a teacher. This Bholi is educated, self asserting, and a courageous young girl who could accept challenges and was no longer willing to be treated like a dumb cow. Now, Bholi is born a fair and pretty child as the fourth daughter of Nambardar Ramlal. Unfortunately, she falls off the cot at the age of 10 months and a part of her brain gets damaged. Named Sulekha at birth, she comes to be known as Bholi. To make matters worse, she gets an attack of smallpox at the age of 2 and her face gets disfigured with deep black pock marks. Till the age of 5, she is unable to speak, and finally, when she does, she begins to stammer. The other children make fun of her when she talks. So Bholi begins to talk very little. Bholi is the youngest child among 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. Her father is a prosperous farmer, and all his children except Bholi are healthy and strong. Her brothers are first sent to schools, then to colleges in the city, but the sisters of Bholi are not given any education, as sending girls to school was not considered proper by the villagers. Bholi's eldest sister Radha is already married, and Mangla, the next, is engaged. Her third sister Champa too is good looking, so their father is not worried about her, as he knows it won't be difficult to marry her off. However, he is worried about Bholi, as she is dull, ugly, and stammers while talking. When Bholi turns 7 years old, a primary school for girls is started in the village. The Tehsildar of the area, who comes to perform the opening ceremony, urges Ramlal to set an example for villagers by sending his daughters to school. Ramlal discusses the matter with his wife, who objects strongly to this idea. Actually, in those days, it used to be difficult to marry off educated girls. But Ramlal, being the Nambardar, cannot afford to annoy the Tehsildar. Something has to be done. So it is decided that Bholi can be sent to school, as nobody would marry an ugly and unintelligent girl like her. The following day, Ramlal catches Bholi by hand to take her to school. This frightens the little girl because she believes that she too is being turned out of the house and sold like the cow, Lakshmi. Ramlal tells his wife to give some decent clothes to Bholi so that the teachers and schoolgirls do not gather a bad impression about them when they see her. Bholi is not given anything new but is made to wear a clean dress that no longer fitted her elder sister Champa. She is also given a bath and a oil is rubbed into her dry matted hair. This kind of attention makes Bholi believe that she is being taken to a place better than her home. Ramlal hands over the fear stricken Bholi to the headmistress, who takes her to a classroom and asks her to sit in a corner. Bholi is glad to be amidst so many girls of her age, although she does not understand anything the teacher says in the class. She is fascinated by the colored pictures hanging on the walls of the room. While she is busy admiring the animals depicted in the pictures, she suddenly finds her teacher standing beside her and smiling lovingly at her. The teacher very lovingly asks Bholi her name. This unexpected query scares Bholi and she fumbles, managing to stammer just half her name. She starts crying as all the girls in the room laugh at her. When the bell rings, the other girls hurry out, but Bholi remains glued to her seat in the corner. The kind teacher again urges her to speak up her name. The soothing tone of her teacher encourages Bholi, and she is able to tell her complete name. At this, the teacher pats her lovingly and advises her to throw out all her fears. She also assures her that very soon she would be able to speak normally. The teacher then gives her a book having colored pictures of dogs, cats, horses, parrot, tigers and cows, etc. She promises that with the passage of time, Bholi would be able to read bigger books and everybody would look at her with respect. The teacher's words prove to be prophetic in the long run. Time passes and the village transforms into a small town. Facilities like a high school, a tin shed cinema hall, and a cotton ginning mill come up. Bholi also grows up into a young woman. One night after dinner, Bholi overhears a conversation between her parents regarding a marriage proposal for her. This proposal was of Bishambar Nath, a 50-year-old, well to do grocer from another village. He was a rich man with a bank balance of few thousand rupees, but he limped, was a widower, and had grown up children from his first wife. Although an absolutely unsuitable proposal, Bholi's parents gave their consent, for they believed that no one else would marry their ugly daughter. Ramlal, however, is worried that Bholi might not accept the proposal, but his wife spurns his doubts by telling him that a dim-witted, dumb cow like Bholi has no opinion of her own. On the day of the marriage, a procession comes to Bholi's town with such pomp and show that everybody is impressed. Bholi's elder sisters even begin to feel envious of the grandeur. Bholi is dressed up in a red silk as a bride and is brought to the garlanding ceremony. When Vishambarnath is allowed to a glimpse of Bholi before the garlands are exchanged, he withholds the event, objecting to Bholi's pockmarks. As compensation, he demands 5,000 rupees from Bholi's father. Ramlal pleads with the arrogant groom, but all requests fall on her deaf ears. A teary eyed Ramlal brings a bundle of notes and places it at the groom's feet. After this, when Bishambar advances to garland Bholi, she angrily throws away the garland and valiantly declares that she would not marry a greedy man like Bishambar Nath. Her action startles everybody, and the elderly women in the gathering begin to criticize Bholi for her defiance. Bholi, however, silences everybody by announcing that she is no longer a dumb cow. The marriage is called off, and the wedding party has to beat a hasty retreat. Bholi assures the worried parents that she would serve them in their old age and would join her school as a teacher one day. Her affectionate teacher, who had been watching this drama, approves of Bholi's decision and looks lovingly at her as if this masterpiece created by her was now complete. Here's the ending of the story Bholi. Khwaja Ahmed Abbas' story Bholi has a dramatic ending. Contrary to the general expectations of readers, Bholi, the protagonist, does not cry herself to death when her marriage fails to get solemnized because of a demand of dowry by her prospective bridegroom Bisambar Das. Instead, she takes the bold step and of refusing to be garlanded as Bisambar Das' wife. In doing so, she courageously refuses to be exploited by a greedy man. Her decision to stay with her parents to serve them in their old age by taking up a job in an own alma mater makes the ending meaningful. Thus, the ending of the story offers education as the most potent solution for the emancipation of an inequality of women. Education alone can bring an end to the discrimination and stigmas that women have to bear in a patriarchal society just because they are women. Thus, the ending is very dramatic but very powerful. Girls should be made aware of their rights and be taught to assert themselves. They must know that they are as important as boys and that gender does not make an individual superior or inferior in any way. Human rights, duties, and privileges ought to be equal for all. However, the ground reality is different as the society does not treat boys and girls in the same way. In lower middle class and weaker sections of the society, boys are given preferential treatment in respect of education and freedom of choice. Boys and girls should get the similar treatment, and this tendency deserves to be checked. So, girls' education is must. By educating girls, we can change the mentality of the society as it has been done in this chapter. As Bholi, she was simpleton, but as she became courageous, confident, it changed her personality. So, girls should be educated. And if we want to change the society, we have to support the education of girl child. Children, I think this chapter is clear to you. Children, if you are having any kind of doubt regarding this chapter, you can contact me. Thank you. Have a nice day.